So it's the second week of the new year, and you're probably thinking about your resolutions, your goals, and how to achieve them. So for me, I think you should stop thinking about your resolutions and goals from a yearly standpoint and think about them from a quarterly standpoint. If you're new here, my name is Indy. I'm known as Students by Indy on Instagram and TikTok. So when the new year started, I stumbled upon this TikToker that I completely forgot who it was because I just scrolled and scrolled as one does. She was talking about being at a holiday party filled with millionaires, and she went around asking everyone how they became so financially rich. And what she said next, I 100% agree wholeheartedly because she said a lot of the people think about their goals on a quarterly basis rather than in a yearly basis. So for me, I also plan on a quarterly basis, and although I'm not a millionaire, I think this strategy and this way of planning is definitely more effective than planning in a yearly basis. So I'm going to give you two reasons why I think you should also plan on a quarterly basis. Okay, so reason number one, I think the year is just simply too long. It's 365 days, 366 days this year because of leap year, and it's just too long to think about your goals on January 1st and thinking that you're going to finish it on December 31st. For example, let's say that one of your goals is to get 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and to do that, the goal is to post one video every single week from January 1st up until December 31st. That means you have to post 52, 53 videos every single week from now to the end of the year. I don't know about you, but when I'm supposed to be, drinking champagne, celebrating that this is a new year, I am gonna get so frustrated thinking about the fact that if I want to reach my goal of a weekly video, I have to post 52 freaking videos. I would be so stressed out, and then I may not even want to do it anymore. However, if you have the same goal of wanting to post on a weekly basis, but except on a quarterly level, it seems a lot more doable because that means you're only having to post about 13 videos a quarter, which is a lot less than 52. And at the end of the day, end of the year, you're still going to be posting 52 videos, except on a quarterly basis. I don't know, psychologically, it just seems like more doable to say, oh, I'm going to do 13 videos this quarter rather than having to do 52 videos a year. And kind of going along the same reasoning that the year is just simply too long. And as someone who kind of procrastinates a lot and waits till the 11th hour to do anything, I think that if I'm given 365, 366 days to do something, I'm going to wait until the 364th day to do it. Because now that it's January, I'm like, oh, I can just wait until February to start with my goals. And then when February comes, it's like, oh, I'll just wait until March, and then so on and so forth. And then at the end of the year, you're not going to achieve anything. But if you are thinking about it from a quarterly perspective, so for the first quarter, it's January, Feb, March, which is only 3 months. And if you have a certain goal that you want to meet, going back to the YouTube goal of wanting to post 13 times a quarter, you're going to probably start pretty soon because you're like, oh, I only have 3 months to do something. Like, I might as well start now rather than in Feb or early March. And I think for both reasons, it's a psychological way of looking at the numbers and why one way of strategizing and planning is more effective than the others. And that's not to say that you can't have yearly goals. Of course, you can have a yearly or a long-term goal, but you are ultimately going to have to break it down into smaller chunks if you want to be more effective with your goal planning. And the reason for that is because things change over time. Your goals are going to change over time. But let's go back to the goal of wanting to grow your subscription on YouTube and potentially being monetized. I think that could be a very good overall arching goal to have, but again, things could change over time. So for example, let's just say that that was your plan for this year, but then quarter two comes around and you're nowhere near 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 viewed hours, which are the requirements to be monetized on YouTube. So you're probably not going to want to stick with the said goals that you have, which is that you are going to post every single week on YouTube, because one, that is ineffective on your part of posting all these videos and creating all these videos when it's not giving you the result that you want. At that point, you're going to want to have to like relook at what's working, what's not, whether it's the thumbnail that needs to be changed, the video content that you are posting, or even just the time of day that you're posting. I think having quarterly goals really allow you to kind of relook at what your plans were originally and not just coast by the year, because I feel like if you don't relook at your data or your results on a quarterly basis or whatever cadence that you're wanting to look at it, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, you're not going to be that happy with the results that you're going to get at the end of the year, because you didn't see what works or what doesn't work for you. Okay, so now that we've discussed the type of goals, yearly versus quarterly, let's discuss how we can actually make effective goals. So you want your goals to be both actionable and achievable. And I think that most people, when they think about their goals, they look at the tangible numbers that are involved. For example, they say they want to grow their YouTube subscription to an X amount number, their Instagram accounts to an X amount of number, or their engagement on TikTok to an X amount of number. But I feel like for those type of goals, they're very output based rather than input based. And that really means that these goals are a mix of both what you're putting in, but also based off of external factors. And I'm emphasizing the last part of external factors because there are a lot of things that you can't necessarily control that are attributing to achieving your goals. For example, say you want to grow your Etsy business to $1,000 a month, but who's to say how the economy is doing, or how people choose to spend their money, or how about maybe Etsy updated something on the back end and suddenly your items are not showing up on people's feed. See, these are the things that you can't necessarily control, because you're not going to call up Etsy and say like, why are my items not being shown on search pages? Those are things that you can't control, but it's going to affect your overall goal of wanting to have $1,000 monthly. So one idea for a goal that you can have in this instance is perhaps having a certain number of items that you want to put out per month or per quarter, or whatever cadence that you choose to work with, because that is something that you can control. You can control the amount of items that you put up in your store. The more that you put out, the more that the customer can find your items, find your shop, and ultimately increase your sales. Having that $1,000 goal is sometimes hard because you might not necessarily hit it, and like I said before, it's not necessarily your fault. Sometimes it's just how things are, and it's affected by a lot of external reasons. So that is it for this video. I hope you learned a lot about setting goals and why I think setting goals on a quarterly basis rather than on a yearly basis is the way to go. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this.